Hello, my name is Li Xuan He. Welcome to Deaf What Project. We are interviewing Sera Kassab today. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Thank you for inviting me. The person who gave me this sign name is actually Sage. I have so much gratitude to them. I am a deaf woman and an artist. I live in Montreal, Quebec, for about 19 years now. I also have a small business, an art studio, as you can see here in my background. I am also a board member of Seeing Voices Montreal. I also work at Paramount as a teacher and an artist. I also studied there. Another job is teaching computer skills at DALC, the Deaf Anglo Literacy Center. And that's all. Wow! So how did you become an artist? Really, it all started with my grandmother. She gave me paper and drawing tools when I was 4 years old. At the time, I didn't know what it was for. I suspected they wanted to encourage me to create my own magic. I started drawing, and I draw everything. Television and movies that I'd seen, items in the household, etc. I tried to mimic their appearance. When I saw my family socializing, using their voices to communicate, and being the only deaf person in the family, I felt hungry. I wanted to communicate with them about that. I thought about it, and I thought I could use art as a possibility. This image was going to be a banana that I drew, right? I was hungry, and I wanted to eat a banana. And my parents eventually got the hint and gave me a banana, and I ate it up, and they were shocked. At that time, I understood art as a possibility. Afterwards, I just continued drawing from that point on, throughout my childhood to adulthood, becoming an actual artist, thanks to my grandmother. And you were only 4 years old, so young. Yes, I was 4. And you spent all those years in art. You're so smart. Where did you study at? What subjects did you study? When I was growing up, my parents encouraged me to go and sign up for group art classes. And those group art classes were in Saudi Arabia. But I don't remember the name of the classes I took. I was so young, maybe 6 or 7 years old. It was an after-school program, and it was strongly encouraged. I remember learning how to do mosaic, where you use clay, like the bathroom tiles, and then you'd break them, then putting the pieces together like a puzzle. Oh wow, that's beautiful, so colorful. To create an image. I kept it over the years and I brought it to share with all of you from when I was 6 or 7. Is it okay to share? Wow, that's beautiful. Look at the flowers. Wow, you're really talented. These are my favorite type of red flowers because it's a common flower in my country, Lebanon. I don't think I've seen that type of flower here. Strangely, no. The important thing is that you have those memories. Absolutely, you're right. When I moved here to Montreal, I attended a school that the abbreviation was FACE, FACE. FACE was a mainstream school where I was the sole deaf student with interpretation services. There, I was able to learn two things: ink illustration and drawing. After that, I went to another school named the Segal Center. And this is the sign. There, I studied two things: jewelry making and painting. Oil, acrylic, watercolor, you name it, all types of painting. And so after that, I took more studies, this time more intensively. It was really important to build up my skills for the future. At that time, I met my teacher named Ian. He's hearing, and he treated me with so much respect. He was incredibly supportive, so I feel that he was especially helpful. I also attended Concordia University for their fine arts program. I graduated with a bachelor's degree with high marks. What a relief! So I am grateful to my teacher. So now with all the studies I've done over the past 12 to 13 years, I've learned these following subjects: illustration, inking, photography, ceramics, fiber arts, where you learn about dyeing fabrics, sewing, working with weaving tools, including the ones you use at the floor level. Mathematics, I love math. Sculpting, as in statues. Woodworking, metalworking, paper making. I know, there's so many. I keep jumping from subject to subject, and as you can see, it ended up being all of this. So many options. It's really beneficial and important to have more than just one medium. For example, if it's just painting, I'd feel as if there was a lack of inspiration. I want to express more. Wow, thanks for sharing. I'm learning so much and it's very interesting. What's your involvement with Seeing Voice Montreal? What's your role? So, how I got involved with Seeing Voices Montreal. My mother and I attended an event featuring deaf talent at the MAB Center. And that was to showcase our abilities, art, performances, handmade jewelry, and whatnot. They'd have booths where visitors could learn more about their work. I was there and I had my booth all set up and ready. My mom wanted to come and visit me. So my mom just wandered around from booth to booth, just curious what was out there. And I was just chilling at my booth and all of a sudden my mom showed up and told me to follow her. I followed her to the Seeing Voices Montreal booth, and standing there was Jack Volpe. I knew who he was. He was like, "Hey, I remember you." And I was like, "Yeah, I remember you too." We chatted for a while and then I was like, "I remember you emailed me before, right?" In that email, Jack had asked me to take on an acting role, but I wasn't interested in that topic. I was stubborn. Honestly, my parents were like, "Hey, come on, you're a good actor." And I was like, "No, no." And then my parents were like, "She'll go. She's a good actor." Jack was hesitant, and I was like, fine. I'll give Seeing Voices Montreal a try. You see, Seeing Voices Montreal performances are collaborations between deaf and hearing artists. So I was curious. The first show that I was involved with was Snow White. I was the youngest of the seven dwarfs. But instead of using the name Dopey, which can be offensive, we replaced it to Silly. It's nicer and appropriate. To be honest, I was quite good with expressing myself through facial expressions and gesture. I really enjoyed it. As soon as it was done, I was like, what's next? And the second play that we produced was The Little Mermaid. Honestly, my acting experience was great. As for the second performance, I was more fascinated with set design, the backdrops, and wanting that artistic contribution. I wanted to express myself artistically. So I asked Jack if it was possible for me to do that, and he was like, yes. He was so thrilled, and so was I. Finally. So for the second production, The Little Mermaid, I made the backdrop, I made the projections, I made the illustrations. That was all my work. I decorated the stage. I also operated the technical aspects and the lights as the actors moved on stage. Oh, it was a really good experience for me. As for the third production, I was like, I want to be involved with Seeing Voices Montreal. And Jack agreed with me. So I joined the board, and we've worked together from that point on. I think it's been 7 or 8 years now? Wow. Wow, that's a really long time. Yes. So what have we been doing for these past 8 years? Acting, storytelling with Jack, ASL instruction, and that's my job too, video editing for advertising and event promotion, poster design upon request, plus an ASL social night. I'm usually the MC for that event to entertain people. Togetherness is something I really embrace. That's the story. It seems like you started up with a small experience and then it builds and builds into a bigger experience. How did the coronavirus impact you as an artist? Honestly, I was so excited to graduate from Concordia University in 2018. I was ready and motivated. I had plans for projects and finding a new job. It'd been 2 years at that point, and I was very patient. And then all of a sudden, coronavirus popped up and everywhere went into shutdown. Should I give up? No, I'll never give up. Instead, I had to figure things out, trust my intuition, and keep doing the same thing I've been doing, and that's working on my art. I continued to work with Seeing Voices Montreal, offering support whenever I could. I also used this time to develop my own website, finally. This way, I could become a business and sell my artworks, handmade jewelry, etc. It's really important to have a backup plan if things don't work out. For Seeing Voices Montreal, I suggested online classes. Seeing Voices Montreal was like, okay, let's see and give it a try. It was incredibly successful and people are happy. Classes continue to be offered online. It's a success. Right? It does not hurt to try. That, you never know. You cannot predict the future, you just have to try. Right. So I kept focused on the art business and continued with the job search and kept a positive mindset. That's it. It's so important to have a positive mindset. Absolutely. As you've completed many pieces of art, do you have any favorites? Well, the one that I chose is really close to my heart, precious and inspiring. I have an example on my iPad. I'll show you. I've posted it for sale and it was sold, but I'll show you. I'm curious. That looks like a person's hand. Can you tell me a bit more about this piece of art? It looks pretty, like a hand positioned in this way. I'm not saying that. The piece is imperfect. Shapes are assumed. So this is a really rich draft. It's rich in color. So many things are happening and going up the forearm, and it's consuming the hand. There's something inside. It's hand, H-A-N-D, in uppercase letters. The important thing is to cherish our hands. Hands are a part of many things in life. Hands are life. I can't stop thinking about this piece of art. I keep looking at it and overthinking. It's a great inspiration for me to create other pieces of art. It's a constant inspiration, like a muse. That's why it's my favorite. It's a very meaningful piece of art. And it's been sold. Congratulations. Thank you. What are some of your future goals as an artist? Honestly, growing up, it was a dream of mine to become a 2D, 3D artist. It's a form that I love. I want to create ASL stories with animation. So it's perfect for children. Yes, for children and teenagers alike. For deaf and hard of hearing children and teens. That's a goal of mine. It's such a critical period for the future right now. For the future, I foresee some good news. I'll find something. I also plan to travel the world and learn. I would like to share my art with others around the world, showing them my business and to share what I've learned. Failure is imperfection. But this means an opportunity to learn, to improve. Absolutely. To be better. After all these failures, you're bound to succeed. It's a good thing. It's brave. So I hope in the future there's someone who's willing to join my team. To offer support or to be of assistance. If not, that's fine too. I'm assertive and I can do this by myself to find someone. I have faith. I believe in myself. And this is how I know I'll be successful and know my abilities. Yeah, right. Like you said, without failure, there's no success. To achieve success, you must experience failures. Right. It's a good lesson. Absolutely. And it's part of life, right? Yeah, real life. That. Do you have any advice for deaf artists? Hearing people will always tell you no, and you can't. We're not surprised. We know it happens all the time. It means that hearing people are worried, overthinking, anxious, about how to interact with deaf people. We just need to show them and not let them overthink. They don't need to worry. The important thing is to see each other because we are capable. We do share similarities. After all, we are all human. We can do anything. We're similar. We just use a different language. That. They need to learn, for example, they enjoy learning spoken languages, such as Mandarin, Italian, English, French, and that's all great. Why don't they learn ASL? Learn with us. That would be nice, yeah. What gives you joy? I love this question. Honestly, I'm crazy. You know that phrase, thrill seeking? Doing stuff like skydiving from a plane, cliff diving into water. Honestly, I am brave, but beforehand, I'm terrified. I have the I can't mentality. And then I'm reminded that deaf people are told they can't. So I'm like, I have to do this. I can do this. I have jumped off a cliff into water. Beforehand, I would just have faith and believe in myself. I would tell myself I can do this. I'm brave. I'll whoop my butt if I say I can't do this. And then I take a jump. So brave. And it feels good, right? It's such a refreshing feeling, that adrenaline. Woo. Another thing I've done was bungee jumping. I've done this twice. A rush in my chest for sure. What's the matter with me? But it's normal. You want to feel that adrenaline. I must take myself out there and take that dive, and I want more of it. I want to do it again. I want that freshness. The third thing I want to do but have not experienced yet. Well, there are a couple things I haven't decided. I'd like to try skydiving out of a plane. It'll take some courage, but it'll give you a rush, right? I'd like to try swimming with sharks while in the cage. I want to do that. I need to be really brave to do this. Really face my fears. It's important to have that joy. It's important to be brave, and it works. Interesting. I never thought about it like that. How the combination of excitement and fear can end up feeling good. It's so important because as a deaf person, being told I can't do certain things, for example, working at a job. Come on. Just like hearing an able-bodied people, I am able to work. I have all this courage. Stop with the fear. Be strong. That's true. If you want to do it, then just do it. Exactly. Do you have any thoughts you wish to share with the deaf or hearing world? In 2022, right now, things are still the same. Things are not changing. But the important thing is to keep in mind, it's normal for hearing people to continue to be shocked by deaf people's abilities. As long as we live as deaf people, we continue to educate so that others can learn about deaf culture. Hearing people need to learn from us, the deaf people. Learning is the key. Absorb as much as you can. Learn as much as you can. With all the learning, you'll be able to worry less and be more at ease. It's best practices to continue learning as long as you live. It's a never-ending process. Thank you for sharing. I hope that things in the future will improve. Right. Always keep on being brave and don't give up. Thank you, Sera Kassab, for being part of the interview series for the Deaf What Legacy Project. We also want to acknowledge the Canada Council of the Arts for funding this project. Thank you.